Hello Africa, and welcome to another episode of African Student Voices on AAU TV. And don't forget, AAU TV is the voice of higher education in Africa. And we are coming to you live from the headquarters of the Association of African Universities here in Accra, Ghana. My name is Jemima Deladem Dotsey, and I'll be your host. Today we will be discussing the impact of terminal examination on student mental health, and I have here with me lovely guests who I'm going to introduce. But before I do that, we'll go for a quick break. Don't also forget to send in your suggestions and also follow the conversation on our social media handles: Association of African Universities on Facebook and YouTube, AAUTV_African Universities on Twitter, and AAUTV Official on Instagram. We'll be right back. Welcome back from the break, and if you just joined us, this is African Student Voices, and we will be discussing the impact of terminal examination on students' mental health. I have here with me lovely guests, and I'm going to give them a minute to introduce themselves. I'll start from the lady.
I'm Mabel Obeng, level 300 student of University of Professional Studies, Accra.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
I'm Norgbey Zacson Elvis Yao, a student from the University of Ghana. I recently completed my final year and then doing my national service in the department.
All right. You're welcome. You're both welcome.
You.
Thank you.
So today we are discussing the issue of examination on students' mental health. But before then, let's get a little personal. You know, from primary school through to JHS, SHS, and now in the tertiary institutions, we've undertaken a lot of examination. So can you share with me your experience? How has it been so far? I'll start from you, Mabel.
Okay, so far, for me, in primary school,
Okay.
I would learn ahead of the class. So mostly I'm ahead of the class.
Okay.
So when it's getting to exams time, I just revise whatever I have done. So I don't really stress myself during exams time.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how does it feel? Like, how does it feel preparing for exam, especially in the tertiary institution?
Okay, in the tertiary institution, there is so much pressure here, because way back in primary school, I was a kid and I didn't have any other things doing. But at the tertiary level, you have other activities doing. So the pressure coming from the tertiary is too high, because there are times you wouldn't learn, and so you have to cover up.
Exactly.
Yeah, to meet. So at the tertiary level, there is so much pressure on me now. Yeah.
Okay, Zacson, would you like to share your experience?
To be frank with you, I didn't like examinations in the first place.
Okay.
School is fun, but then
examination
makes it stress. And
Okay.
Though I would say I'm quite good when it comes to academics,
Okay.
but then it's something I just didn't like. I didn't like to
Why?
be tested. I want to do what I feel like doing.
So what did you feel like doing?
Let me just go through the school. I always ask myself this question: why do I come to school, pay tuition fees
Yes.
for you to teach me, and then at the end of the day you want to examine me? I didn't pay you to examine me, so I feel like, oh, why don't you let me go through the school, study what I came to study, and then when I go out there to look for a job, they need me, so they have to examine me.
But do you know that if they are not able to assess you, they won't be able to know if you got what they taught you?
Yeah, I understand that. And there are different ways of assessing the individual. When it comes to written examination, I don't like that.
Just don't like
Yes.
it. Wow. Okay. So let me come back to you, Mabel. In your tertiary institution, I believe sometimes when it's time for examination, you hear a lecturer say, "This exam is really going to be difficult, and if you don't learn, I'll fail you. I'll make sure I fail you." Those comments, how does it affect you as a student with your mental health and your preparation towards exam?
Okay, with those words uttered by the lecturers,
Yeah.
it comes as a shock, and you'll be tensed, because
Exactly.
at some point you feel like you've not learned anything
That's true.
at that point. So you as a student, you are unable to even relax your brain, get enough time to think for yourself. So you are being pressured to learn anything. So at times you just pick different things, and then it really stresses your mind.
It does. Exactly.
Yeah.
How do those statements affect you, since you even didn't like examination in the first place?
They're actually harmful to the students' mental health. It makes the students have anxiety, this kind of fear, and it's uneasy. Just as she said, it makes you feel like you've not studied anything. A student may have read through all her notes and lecture slides from the beginning of the semester, and then at the end of the day, the lecturer comes to say the exam is going to be difficult.
If you don't learn, I'll fail.
If you don't learn, I'll fail you. This time around, the syllabus is a whole lot.
Yes.
And then you can't time to read everything and then go and making research on a lot of things. That is a whole stress altogether. So when the student becomes anxious or feels anxiety, he or she finds it difficult to progress with the studies for the examination. So at the end of the day, the student goes into the exam hall with this kind of fear that I don't know what is going to come. If it comes at the end of the day, because of fear, the student forgets what they've learned before coming into the exam hall, and then they end up failing. And all this is a mental disorder.
That brings me to my next question. You spoke about fear. So personally, how do you build your confidence to be able to deal with examination fear?
For me,
you didn't like examination in the first place, but then you are academically good. So how are you able to, build that confidence to sit down, even though you don't like it, and write and pass?
I think I study a day before exams.
Okay, so you don't even start. You study a day before exams.
Yeah, a day before exams.
But don't that stress you the more? Because from Abigail, even the way the lecturer talks to them sometimes stresses them. So if with all that you wait a day before exam and then learn, how possible is that?
I've psyched my mind in a way that nothing the lecturer says moves me. If I say I study a day before exam, I mean that I sit behind the books a day before exams. But then the way I study during the whole semester is after I leave a class, whatever the lecturer says or whatever happens in class, I play back. So it's like a story. I look out for the funny things we've made in class, the funny comments and all this. And then it helps me in studying a day before exams. So I just recap all what's happened in class, and then I'm okay with that. But then some points too, when you are going to the exam hall, you are so scared, like, hey, what did I learn? You don't even want to talk to anyone. Because when you feel like when you talk to someone, everything disappears from your mind.
Yeah, that's true.
When you are going, you are all quiet, trying to remember everything, and then it looks like it's true and poor. What we know as true and poor. So their words are actually harmful to some students who are unable to overcome those things. And then it ends up reflecting in their grades.
That's true.
So I would say those words are not really that good. They're not good.
Wow. Mabel, let me come to you. How do you build your confidence?
Okay, as for me, I gather my mates. My mates in the classroom, and I'll be teaching them. So it's more or less like I am practicing what I have learned, but to them, I am teaching them. So I gather them in a classroom, questions, then I'll take the past questions. Then they will be asking me questions. Then I'll be answering them. So whichever place I don't know, then I'll go back. So after the period, after the time I've done that exercise with them, I'll go back and then revise the places that I couldn't get well. So that is how I
think that has reminded me of something. Because when we go for group discussions, I'm the type, when I come for a group discussion and I'm seated quietly, it means I don't know anything. I've not studied anything before coming. So I don't even contribute because I feel like when I say something, it's wrong, and then I may cause confusion. So anytime I come for a group meeting and then I moderate the session, it means that
you have to really prepare.
I'm really prepared for the paper, and then I just want to do a recap of everything.
Of where you have learned. So let me still come to you, Zacson. In cases where students don't perform well in their terminal examination, some are subjected to mockery, which tends to, lead to depression and suicidal thoughts. Even recently, I think I heard one from another school. Considering this, should you think terminal examination should be scrapped? I want you to.
I think it should. It should.
Wow, really? So how do you want to be assessed? Apart from exam, how do you think you would want to be assessed personally?
I like the practical way. the written aspect.
But you know, in our institutions now, practicality is really a little down.
Yeah.
Mostly we do the theory. So how would you want the practical? Sent out on the field to work or still around the institutions?
It can be either around the institution or sent out of the institution, like a field work, for instance. And then I think we should invest into the practical aspect, because right now, the way the world is going, everything is more of practicals.
Yes,
like
that's
you
true.
need to be practically good at something.
Yes.
Not just theory.
Yeah.
You get it? Not just theory. And then students failing all the time and then causing depression. It's something we see all the time.
That's true.
Students can sit and then fail one particular paper over and over again, resit for that paper, and keeps failing. And here lies the case. The university is not considering that, or the school is not considering that the person keeps failing, so what should I do? And then the person is being pressured to still learn for that paper and pass.
Yes.
So if the examination is, you keep examining the person and the person is not doing well, just let the person go. Or you find other means of assessing the student.
Okay.
Yeah. Not every student is able to sit and write and explain things in the way the lecturer will want it. There are some students who are practically good. They are able to apply whatever they've studied.
They have learned, yes.
But then there are also some people who can just come to the exam hall and write everything they studied. But when you give them a practical work to do, they are unable to do that.
That's true.
So it looks like it's unfair. I'm not good at reading and then coming to sit down to write everything. But rather I'm good at practicing whatever I've studied.
Yes.
So why don't we blend the two, or we just scrape?
You scrap the examination. I know that is what you want. I know that's what you want. Maybe, or let me come to you. Do you think examination should be scrapped?
I'll go with the practical aspects.
Okay.
As what Brother Zach said. Yeah, examination is quite stressful, but it builds our character.
Yeah.
So I don't think it should be scrapped off, but we should blend it with the practical aspects.
Okay.
For instance, I have a mate. He has 5 receipts.
Wow.
He's orally good. When it comes to class, he can answer questions correctly. Yes, but when it comes to the written aspects, he doesn't do well there. He can't really memorize everything at that instant. Yeah. Wow. So I think if we blend the written aspects, the theory aspect with the practical aspect, it will be very helpful.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
So let me still be on you. Share with me some of your awkward moments before, during examination, and even after. What are some of these awkward moments you have been through?
Okay, there was a time I didn't really prepare for one paper, so I had to study the whole night till the next morning. And when I got to the exam room, I had forgotten everything.
Wow.
I had forgotten everything. Lucky it was a reading course.
Yes.
So I could form words and
put something there.
Yeah. So after the exams, I didn't feel good the whole of that vacation because I knew I didn't write anything. Wow. So fast forward, the results were released. I was really scared to check, but fortunately for me, so my friend actually knew that I didn't do well, so she didn't want to. We didn't want to check, so I made her check, but I didn't resit the paper though.
Wow, that's nice.
It was good.
Share with me some awkward moments.
I remember when I came into the university in the 101st semester. We did a course where the examination was going to be multiple choice questions and then filling. Okay. And then when you talk about filling, if you do not read the whole book or the whole slide, you can't do anything about it. That was a little bit difficult for me. When I was in my when I was a child, I used to memorize a whole book or a poem, a memory verse or something. I can say a whole chapter. Wow. But then, as I was growing, I realized that I'm not able to memorize everything. It's no longer working. So when I was told we are going to write a paper with filling, I was actually scared.
Wow.
We got into the exam hall. I did my best.
Exactly.
And then I knew, I just had in mind that I was going to fill the paper. Can you imagine? Right after the paper, I called my dad. I told him, Dad, please prepare some 200 students down for me. I'm going to recite this paper.
Wow.
So throughout the vacation, I was scared because first semester, level 100.
Yeah.
I'm going to recite a paper. I'm already filling a paper. At the end of the day, when the results came, I passed. I did
good.
well.
Okay.
I didn't expect that grade.
Yeah, but then
and there were other semesters to same. But then there were those ones I feel it was because of my reluctance when it came to going for lectures and all that. First of all, I didn't like the course. I didn't like the lecturer.
And you don't even like the examination.
I don't like examinations too.
Yes.
So I went to the exam hall. I wrote the paper. After the paper, I realized I deviated.
Oh, okay.
So I was also looking up to an F.
Wow.
But then that one also came, I did well. But there are some students who literally fail the paper. And it's a whole thing altogether. Depression.
Yes, that's true. Yeah. So we'll go for a quick break, and when we come back, we will continue with our conversation. Stay tuned. Welcome back from the break, and this is African Student Voices, and we are discussing the impact of terminal examination on student mental health. Don't also forget to drop your suggestions on our social media handles, Association of African Universities on Facebook and YouTube, AAUTV_African Universities on Twitter, and AAUTV Official on Instagram. Welcome back from the break.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So now I want us to link student examination, student terminal examination to student mental health. How do these correlate? Maybe I'll start from you.
Okay, I would say that students exams and mental health are just something you can't
take
separate. Yeah, because the more we learn, we prepare ourselves for exams, the more we stress our minds. And if we are unable to make A's and the B's in the papers, we tend to feel bad and
less of ourselves.
Yeah, because I have some friends that they'll kill themselves for the paper. So if it turns out that they don't get the A's, the required grades they want, they feel bad, and sometimes they feel reluctant to come to class.
Even come to class.
Yeah,
wow, that's great. Zacson.
Examination and then students' mental health has a correlation. It correlates, and I'll say that when we talk about mental health, just as we said, it's the cognitive, the behavioral, and then the emotional well-being of the individual. So if a student who is preparing for exams should have a deficit in the cognitive well-being, the emotional and then the behavioral well-being of him or herself, then we see the student's mental status is depreciating. So when we are still talking about mental health, right? So when we mention mental health and an examination, once a student is preparing for the exams, just as I said, some students kill themselves for the paper.
That's true.
After killing yourself for the paper, you have an F.
How is that possible?
How is that possible? You studied everything, and then that's what you get.
And then you go and get an F.
But then, literally, you go to the lecturer. The lecturer says, "Yes, this is what you got. That is what you got. That's not what I gave you." So just stick to that. Wow. The student goes back thinking through it over and over again. Why did I do this? Why did I make this grade? And then things start running through the student's mind.
That's true.
Yes, things start running through the student's mind. Whether to do this or to do that. The students become depressed, mood swings and all that. All those are disorders of the individual's mental status. So there's a relation between the two. Once examination is there, the student's mental health should also be there, meaning that there's going to be a deficit somewhere.
Yeah, that's true. So what do you think are some of the solutions that should be used to curb the mental health of students with regards to their terminal examination? What do you think should be done? Since you don't even like exam, what do you think should be done to curb this mental stress?
I would like to commend the University of Ghana Career Guidance and Counseling Center. They started something this academic year which I I was really okay with it. I appreciated it a lot.
Okay.
When examination was approaching, the end of semester examination was approaching, they came out with these short quotes and flyers to help students study, ways to help them study for their paper, and then to take away the fear and then the anxiety they feel before going to write a paper.
Okay.
They shared those flyers through our mails over and over again, and I think that is one of the things which will help maintain the students' mental health.
So if I'm getting you clearly, so what was on the flyer? Like what?
So for instance, prepare thoroughly before going to the exam hall.
So like
some
a
of the
reminder.
ways to prepare, they mentioned you making short notes and then keep memorizing that over and over again. Have enough rest and then all that. And then I forgot to mention this, when we are talking about mental health and examination, students kill themselves. We also say that we learn this in the university or in the schools, that you must have enough rest to keep the body active. Here lies the case that the syllabus is too loaded, but then
Just
I have to stay overnight
to
learn more, do a lot of research, and then
the time is all gone.
Yeah, the time is all gone. You don't have time to rest.
That's true.
And then lastly, the words lecturers use sometimes when examination is approaching should not be used. You shouldn't put fear in the students. Rather, we should encourage them to study towards the exams.
That's true.
Yeah, examinations are not easy though. To examine someone is not easy.
Yeah.
But then you should encourage them to study towards the paper.
That's true. Mabel, so what are some of the solutions you think should be used to curb students' mental health?
Okay, like he said, with the sticker and everything. Yeah, I think it's a very good thing if every university is to adapt it. Yeah, but I also commend UPSA counseling units, because when you throw in, let's say, 2 papers, they would call you and then you come and then they'll take you through and counseling on the courses like this. Personally, one of my mates thrilled in some papers, so I had to take her to the lecturer to see the lecturer, and with how the lecturer spoke today, she understood everything that she thrilled, so she had to rewrite the paper again. So I think if every university is to go ahead and get a well-being management where they will sit students down and then advise them on all these things, I think it will help curb suicidal thoughts after exams.
That's true.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so personally, you spoke about students failing exams and how to take it again. So as a friend to your friend, how would you help your friend to be able to, do well in exam or take that step?
Okay, so after I took her there, I sat her down. So in her less 3 days.
3 days,
she'll come, then I'll take her through. So she rewrote the paper again and she passed.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, so I think if, as a friend, if you come to me, I'll take you through the steps and everything.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Since you don't like exam, how would you help your friend if your friend is failing? How are you going to help your friend?
There are so many forms of help.
Okay.
Sometimes the students failing the paper is not as a result of he or she not being able to study. There may be other factors.
That's true.
Socio-economical factors, biological factors or something. Or maybe things which are happening from home.
Yes.
So you have to sit the person down. I sit the friend down. We discuss. Just spill out any problem that you have.
Okay.
Why do you think you failed the paper? Because first of all, you need to understand the person. What was wrong with the person? Because you've been with the person for long, and then you know the student is not someone who should be failing a paper. So if you get to understand the person and you think you can't do anything about it, you take it to management. Every school has a counseling unit.
Yes.
So you take it there, and then they are able to help the students out. Alongside, after you taking the students there, you shouldn't sit idle thinking it's all done.
It's all done.
You need to keep checking up on the
Following
students.
up.
If you can look for human resource personnel to help the students in studying, just like the teaching assistants and all that. That is okay. I think recently, that was just last week, my department, the student leaders talked to some of the TAs to help the students in one particular paper, study towards one particular paper. And then they were okay with it. The TAs helped them. We are yet to see the outcome, though the notice came to us very late. So we are yet to see the outcome. So things like this would help students who have failed their paper to rewrite and do better. So I would encourage students' associations to engage teaching assistants and
that's true.
some lecturers who will help the students prepare towards a trailed paper which they have to rewrite.
That's true. Yeah. Okay. So let me still come to you. What are some of the relevant rules that you think stakeholders should help students who do fall prey to exam-related mental issues? So stakeholders like our parents, our lecturers, institutional authorities, and all that. What do you think they should do to help these students?
What I think they should do is already being done.
Like?
For instance, we have course advisors for each level in my department. Sometimes the students are the ones who decide not to go closer to the lecturers. So you've been given the opportunity to get close to lecturers, discuss with them, let them know your problem, your academic problem. If your performance is deteriorated, they will surely have a way of helping you out.
That's true.
So what I think should be done is the students should be encouraged to get closer to the lecturers. There is fear. They feel like when you get close to the lecturer may just snub you, but the lecturers are also humans like us. They also pass through stages like this.
That's true.
So if you engage them over and over again, I normally engage my lecturers. I remember I took my transcript to some lecturers. I'm not doing well in this part. And then I need help. They said some things to help me out. I remember one lecturer I didn't take it to him. He requested for my transcripts to see what I was doing because I'm a student leader and then I can't leave school without doing well.
That's true.
So he called me over, saw I was not really doing well in some parts, and then he tasked me to either maintain that GPA or do better.
That's true.
And then I kept that in mind. And I was going by all his recommendations for me to do better. So engaging with the lecturers is one. Also, they should monitor the students' how they call it, transcripts over from time to time. So just as she said, if a student fails about 2 papers, they call the students. Because in a semester, a student can fail about 2 or more papers.
That's true.
So if you realize a student has failed this number of papers, the counseling unit should invite the students. And just as I said, what I'll do to my friend, engage them, asking them what the problem is, the counseling unit should also do same. And at the end of the day, they would have a solution to the student's problem.
Okay, so Mabel, what do you think our stakeholders should do to help the student?
As we know, charity begins at home.
That's true.
And some parents mount pressure on their wards. For instance, maybe the ward can't do accounting, but some parents, they prefer their wards doing this particular ward.
That's true.
So I think parents also should be talked to like that. You should accept that this is the level of, like, the strength your ward can go. So you shouldn't force your ward to go to this particular side. And the management, I think management should get people who will also assist students. Like, it shouldn't be lecturers, it should be TAs as well. Personally, UPSA, we don't really do the TA thing, but there is this one guy, Ivan, who has taken it upon himself to teach students for free. So he prepares us for exams. He teach us throughout the semester, and I think it's helpful. It's helpful. Just that some students will definitely not come and they will chill. So basically that is it.
Okay, so you think a lot should be done right from the home and from the institution. Thank you very much for coming.
You're welcome.
So this has been African Student Voices, and we discussed the impact of terminal examination on student mental health. And don't forget to share your comments with us on our social media platforms, Association of African Universities on Facebook and YouTube, AAUTV_African Universities on Twitter, and AAUTV Official on Instagram. Thanks for staying with us, and catch you next time, same time. Bye.